गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्बा त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीं। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदीकैवर्तकः केशवः। पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथासम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। गीताशास्त्रमिदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः पुमान् विष्णोः पदमवाप्नोति भयशोकविवर्जितः। गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च। मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनं। गीतासु गीता कर्तव्या किमन्यैः शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता। भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं। गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। एकं शास्त्रं देवकीपुत्रगीतमेको देवो देवकीपुत्र एव। एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतस्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। गीतायाः पुस्तकं यत्र यत्र पाठः प्रवर्तते तत्र सर्वाणि तीर्थानि प्रयागादीनि तत्र वै यत्र गीताविचारश्च पठनं पाठनं श्रुतं तत्र अहं निश्चितं पृथ्वीं निवसामि सदैव हि चिदानन्देन कृष्णेन प्रोक्ता स्वमुखतोऽर्जुन वेदत्रयी परानन्दा तत्त्वार्थज्ञानसंयुता अष्टादश जपेन्नित्यं नरो निश्चलमानसः ज्ञानसिद्धिं स लभते ततो याति परं पदम् गीतार्थं ध्यायते नित्यं कृत्वा कर्माणि भूरिशः जीवन्मुक्तः स विज्ञेयो देहान्ते परमं पदम् मन्दारगन्धसंयुक्तं चारुहासं चतुर्भुजं बर्हि पिच्छावचूडाङ्गं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् रुक्मिणीकेलिसंयुक्तं पीताम्बरसुशोभितम् अवाप्ततुलसीगन्धं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् उत्फुल्लपद्मपत्राक्षं नीलजीमूतसन्निभं यादवानां शिरोरत्नं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं च यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवनारायण नमोऽस्तु ते कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। अस्तु. So in the last class we were discussing the third shloka, I think, right? 8th chapter, third shloka. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmachitam Adhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visarga Karma Sangitaha. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visargaha Karma Sangitaha. So here in the first two shlokas, Arjuna is asking what is Brahma, what is Adhyatmam, what is Karma, what is Adhibhutam, what is Adhidaivam, Adhiyajnaha, he is asking. And Prayana Kalecha Katham Jneyaha Asi. Okay, so by the Niyatatma, how will he know during the Prayana Kala what to do? Or when the Prayana Kala will happen, or what should be thought of during that time. These are the questions that Arjuna asks. So here in the third shloka, Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaraha Visargaha Karma Sangitaha. So third one, I think we were discussing when we stopped, right? So Aksharam, that which does not be destroyed, that which cannot be destroyed. Aksharam Paramam Brahma. So Aksharam, that which is Aksharam, that which is not Ksharam, that is Brahma. Okay? Kim Tat Brahma. So what is Brahma? Brahma is that which cannot be destroyed. There is no, that which is Nitya. that which is Nitya, that is Brahma. And what is this Paramam here is given for us to understand, or for more clarity here, that Akshara is not the Omkara Akshara. Okay, it is a Kshara, that which cannot be destroyed. Only to give that clarity that Paramam is used. Paramam Brahma Aksharam. That which cannot be destroyed is Aksharam. Ashnute iti Aksharam. Ashnute means that which is Vyapi. It is fully omniscience, we say. Okay, it occupies the complete space. That also is called Aksharam. So in that way, Paramatma answers Arjuna, Krishna answers Arjuna about Brahma. And then Swabhavaha, Swabhavaha, Swabhavaha. So what is this Swabhavaha? Here very briefly it is told. In the last class we discussed a little briefly about Swabhavaha. Means that which is there everywhere, in every prani or in every sharira. In every sharira, that which is there. What is there? That which is there in every sharira, jiva is there. Now this jiva, in every sharira, the jiva that is there in each sharira is different. But there is one that is there in all the shariras. That is nothing again but the Paramatma. And here Swabhavaha is, again, the sharira exists because of this jivam, not just because of the indriyas or of the pranas. Okay, indriyas are there, pranas are also there, and we feel that this sharira is alive because of these pranas. But bigger than this prana, there is a jiva. Because of that jiva only, the pranas and the indriyas are able to work. But we feel, at the outer level, we feel that these pranas are the ones that are making or keeping the body alive. But it is not just the pranas. Above the pranas, there is this jiva. And because of that jiva only, the pranas and indriyas are working. So when the body is shutting down, one by one it will shut down. And finally the jiva will leave. So the indriyas will shut down, the pranas will shut down, and then finally the jiva will leave the body. And when it is leaving, it means it is entering another body sometime later. And as it is entering that other body, it will take along with it these pranas and the indriyas. It will take along with it these pranas and the indriyas. That is how whatever we are thinking of during that prayana kala get carried into that new sharira. So during that prayana kala, we have to still practice that adhyatma chintana, paramatma tattva jnanam. That we have to practice so that our pranas and the indriyas are still focused only on the Paramatma. So that when the jiva leaves and it takes along with it the pranas and the indriyas into the next body, whatever it carries will be there. That new sharira will be born into the same kind of situation. So if we think about what, about other things, about laukika things, I am dying, how about my children, or how about my business, or how about my something else, we will again be born into that kind of life only, where we are constantly worrying about this asat, this, vastus. But whereas, okay, whatever I have done, I have done. I have done all my responsibilities. Whatever is done is done. Now the prayana kala has come. I have to think of the Paramatma, because that is the only way for me to get out of this birth and death cycle. I have to practice this detachment. Otherwise, I will be carrying all this into my next life. Do I need these burdens in my next life also? That chintana should be there, and consciously we have to make an effort to think only about Paramatma during that prayana kala, so that our indriyas and the pranas will not carry anything. How you train them? Like that only, like how we train the manas to be under control without thinking. At each step we see. Initially, the manas is running all over. Slowly, it will start coming for a few seconds under control, and then it is running over. At least those few seconds, it is not thinking of anything else. We are able to keep it focused on what we want, on the Paramatma. Like that, with Abhyasa, that time will increase. And finally, if that Abhyasa is continued in the same way with that much focus, totally we will be able to focus on the Paramatma completely without other things bothering us. But because we are leading a life of samsara, we have to do other things. And while we are doing that other things which are our responsibility, we need to focus on that. Only to do our best, we have to focus on it, not to get attached to it and constantly think about it. That also, again, we have to remember. So right now I am cooking, I have to keep all my focus on the cooking. It doesn't mean I have to think about it after I'm done with it. So like that, as much as what is needed, we have to do. The manas will come back again, and then we again focus on Paramatma. Even while cooking also, we can still think about Paramatma while we are still focusing on the cooking. Like that. So once that mind is trained, then during the Prayana Kala also, it will not worry about other things and it will focus only on the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam. And that way, when we go into the new Sharira, we will not be carrying all this along with us. Okay? And then another thing that is mentioned here is Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatmamuchyate Bhutabhavoద్భవకరः Visargaha Karma Sangnitaha. So Bhutabhavoద్భవకరः. So what is this Bhutabhavoద్భవకరः? Here, this is talking about one second. So Bhuta is that which happens, right? Bhavati iti Bhuta. Bhuta Bhavodbhavaha. So that which happens is Bhuta. Bhavati iti Bhutam. Now everything is being born. Everything is being born and it is growing and changing constantly. In this Prakriti, if you see, look at anything, that constant change is happening and the creation is happening and the Vinasha is also happening. A life is born, it is growing, it is changing, and then it is ending. So this is constantly happening. And what is the reason for all of this to happen? It is because of the karmas that we do, right? If we are born right now, this Sharira that we are born into this Sharira. Why? Because of the karmas that we have done in the past. Similarly, with whatever karmas we are doing right now, our next birth is taking shape. If we lead a dharmika life, then the next life will be accordingly. If we lead a dharmika life, then again the next life that we take also will be according to the karmas that we do right now, right? So here, bhuta bhavotbhavakaraha. So what is this bhava? This bhava is nothing but that which is taking shape according to what we are doing, according to our karmas. So whatever bhava is there, that gets carried into the next sharira. So visargaha, bhuta bhavotbhavakaraha, visargaha karma samnitaha. So visargaha is to to give up. So how should these karmas be done? Without any phalakanksha. That is visargaha here. That visargaha implies whatever karmas that we are doing should be free of phalakanksha. Free of phalakanksha. And such is known as the karma. That kind of kriya is called karma. Karma sangnitaha. Okay, sangnya means name. What is called as karma? That which is done without any phalakanksha and according to dharmam. According to dharmam. Now, any kriya is not called karma. Sometimes
excuse me, Bhagini, please, sorry for interruption. Bhavotkaraha means according to our past karma, it takes its shape, isn't it?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So the creation, the change, and the growth. Bhuta bhavot bhavakaraha. Okay, that is what it means. The utpatti, the growth, the change, whatever change it takes, and whatever is and the reason for that. What is the reason for that? See, bhuta bhavot bhava karaha. Karaha indicates somebody that is doing. What is that somebody that is causing this bhuta and bhavot bhava? The karma. What is bhuta bhavot bhava karaha? It is nothing but the karma. What is karma? Not any karma. Visargaha karma. Visargaha karma means a karma that is done without any kind of phalapeksha and as given in the Vedas. So all things that we do not count as proper karmas. Here karma means the sat karma. Here karma is indicating only the sat karma. And what is that sat karma? As given in the Vedas, the rituals or the yagas or the yajnas that have been described earlier in the earlier adhyayas, what comes under yajna and all that, and without any kind of phalapeksha. That is called karma. Karma samnitaha. Okay. So here we have to understand that visargaha is as per the Vedas, giving it out. Like in the yaga, you are offering to the gods. In other places, you are offering, things that are useful for somebody's life. Whatever you are giving, it can be annadanam or whatever kind of danam you are giving for the betterment of that person's life. Not simply for their entertainment or anything. For them to be able to survive and lead their life, whatever we are giving in the good sense and without expecting anything in return. Without expecting anything in return for their betterment, whatever is given as per our Vedas. In the Vedas also, all kind of danas have been explained. So what we can give without phalapeksha, it is very clearly described. So many danas are there. So any such thing, those will be considered as karmas, the satkarmas. So such kind of satkarma will be the reason for this bhuta bhavotbhava. For us to be born, for us to, how we are changing, how our life is proceeding, all this depends upon the karmas that we have done in the past. If there aren't that many good karmas that we have done as per the Vedas, whatever is identified as a karma, whatever is recognized as a satkarma as per the Vedas, if a particular jiva does not do many of those, his life also will be accordingly. If he has done, then so the determination of the life in the next janma depends on the karmas that we have done in the past lives. And accordingly, if a jiva has done so many good satkarmas as per the Vedas, but he has not yet attained moksha, so there are still some more lives for him to attain moksha. Just by doing satkarma, one cannot achieve moksha. That also we have learned in the previous adhyayas. Satkarma is only the very first step, only to focus and cleanse our manas, buddhi and everything, to cleanse ourselves from these negative feelings, the wanting, the desires, the attachment, all these, to cleanse this satkarma charana. Once we attain that, once our manas is purified, then we have to focus on the on other things, where that focus is needed, that dhyanam is needed, that constant Paramatma Tattva Jnanam should be, that smarana should be there, mananam should be there. Only then we will attain that point where the karmacharana is not needed anymore. Karmacharana is needed as long as we attain that, enter into that jnana marga. Once a jiva enters into the jnana marga, then the karmacharana is not needed, but completely, like he should not be conscious of his sharira also. He should be so much involved only in the dhyanam of Paramatma. That is the jnana marga. So until then, the satkarmacharana is needed. And when will he get that environment where he is able to focus on that? Again, that depends on the karmacharana that we have done in the past. We have discussed some stories also regarding that. Some people feel that they are ready for this jnana marga, so they resent the responsibilities that they have. We discussed about that king who wanted to do this dhyanam, but he is tied up with his kingly duties, so he resents it, and he will just leave his duties and go and try to do dhyanam and tapas. But then it won't work, so he will realize and then come back. So again, that also is there. So our responsibilities we have to complete, only then we can go into the jnana marga. And until then we are not ready. Though we feel that we are ready, we are not ready. And another thing is, so so our karmas are the ones that lay our path in the next life. So depending on the karma. So even though the king felt he was ready and he wanted to do, he was not able to do. Why? Because of the karmas that he has done in the past, his path was not yet ready for him, though he thought he was ready. So again, he understood that and he came back and he did wholeheartedly, he did his responsibilities, and then slowly he was able to enter into that. So that environment also will be created depending on the karmas that we have done in the past. Say, for example, we come across some children who are very good, who are blessed with a kind of talent. And then they will be in a family where the parents encourage them from the very beginning, they recognize the talent in the child, and they provide the environment that is needed to nourish that talent to the point where they are able to reach their full potential. So that child, by looking at such a children, we can understand that that child has done so many satkarmas, that in this life, not only did the child bring the talent, whatever abhyasa has been done in the past has been followed up. That is what you call that inborn talent, we say. Some children from the very beginning, they show some expertise in certain things. Why is it? It does not happen just like that. It is because of their purva janma abhyasa. So that if they have done enough satkarmacharana, they will be born into a family or into an environment where that support is given for them from the very beginning. If that satkarmacharana is not there, that support also will not be there in their next life. So though they have the talent, nothing comes together. Nothing comes together so that they can reach their full potential. So both are important, not only having the talent, but being in an environment where that is nourished and they are able to reach their full potential and move forward. Again, depending on what they do. We see sometimes that some people are so talented, but their personality, like their behavior or the way they think or the ego that they have, such things have no comparison. The talent is so good, but personality wise, they have so many other negative things. So what will happen in their next life? They don't do any satkarma charana. They are only focused on their needs and everything. They have so much of talent. Because of all that abhyasa, the talent has been carried over into the next life. Fine. Because they are constantly thinking about that only, maybe even during the prayana kala. They are thinking about what they are good at, that talent. So it is carried over into the next life, but they haven't done enough Satkarma Charana. So they don't have that means to take it to the next level. So though they have the talent, they are not able to reap the benefits of having that talent. So such things happen. Such things happen. For some people, everything will come timely. We see that, right? Such simple people, not very talented, but everything works their way, and they are able to do more than what they could have done otherwise. That only we call as adrishtam. Normally we say adrishtam undi. That is why he is able to do. What is that adrishtam? Nothing other than their own purvajanma satkarma charana. So nothing comes free to anybody. We think, oh, how come how come certain person got it just like that? It did not happen just like that. It is his own satkarma charana, but it is done in the previous lives. In this life, we are not able to see that. So we think it just happened like that to that person. Similarly, some people, no matter how good they are, some bad things can happen. That also we think, we often tell, right? He's such a good person. He never harmed anybody. But bad luck is always there with him. Everything, whatever he does, some nashtam only is happening. Like that, we see such people also. So this life, he's a very good person, trying to be good and doing all the right things. But unknowingly, maybe in his past lives, somewhere, sometime, he must have done something wrong. So that is still tagging along. Until he clears that karma, that papam, it will carry on. It will carry on in various forms. It can be financial trouble, it can be health, it can be something, it can be something. However it is, that is again determined by Paramatma only. How we are going to clear our papam, that also will be done by the Paramatma only. That calculation is done. So we don't know. So like that, this karma, that is what is the karma. Like how the Vedas have told. Accordingly, the Satkarma Charana is called karma. That is the actual karma that is referred. Okay, that is what we discussed in the third shloka. So last week we discussed the Karaka relation and all, right? For the third shloka, did we? So we are in this third. So here, Aksharam Paramam Brahma Uchyate. Uchyate we can take as Adhyahritam. Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. And Visargaha Bhuta Bhavotbhavakaraha Karma Sangnitaha Asti. So here Uchyate is told. Aksharam is called as Brahma. What kind of Brahma? Paramam Brahma. So Paramam is Visheshana to Brahma. Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. And Visargaha Bhuta Bhavotbhavakaraha. What is the Bhuta Bhavotbhavakaraha? Karma itself. What kind of karma? Visargaha. So that kind of Bhuta Bhavotbhavakaraha is called Karma Sangnitaha. Okay? Okay. So let us start with the fourth shloka. Bhagini, Savitri Bhagini.
हाँ महोदय, नमस्ते.
Namaste.
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वरा. अधिभूतं क्षरः भावः पुरुषः च अधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञः अहम् एव अत्र देहे देहभृतां वरा. अधिभूतम् अव्ययं वा? अव्ययं. क्षरः क्षरः अकारान्त पुल्लिङ्ग, प्रथमाविभक्ति एकवचन. भावः प्रथमाविभक्ति एकवचन पुल्लिङ्ग. पुरुषः अकारान्त पुल्लिङ्ग, प्रथमाविभक्ति एकवचन. च अव्यय. अधिदैवतम् अधिदैवतम् अव्ययं वा? Adhidaivatam.
Adhidaivatam is Napumsaka, Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachana.
Napumsakalinga.
Or Purushaha Adhidaivatam, we are saying, no?
Yes.
In the shloka, Aksharam Adhibhutam Ksharaha Bhavaha Purushaha cha Adhidaivatam. Yeah, Napumsakam we can say.
Napumsakalinga. Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana. Adhiyajnaha. That is also Napumsakalingam. Pullingam.
Pumlingam.
Pullingam. Adhiyajnaha Pullinga. Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana. Aham. Dakaranta Asmat-shabdasya Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana. Eva Avyaya. Atra Avyaya. Dehe. Dehe Shabdasya Saptami Vibhakti Ekavachana. Deha Bhritam. Shashti Bhakti Bahuvachanam. Vara.
Deha Bhritam.
Is it correct?
Yes.
Vara. Vara. Sambodhana. Sambodhana Prathama. Ksharaha. Padarthaha. Ksharaha. Vinashashilaha. Bhavaha. Padarthaha. Adhibhutam. Adhibhutam iti vyavahriyate. Purushaha cha. Hiranyagarbha cha. Adhidaivatam. Adhidaivatam iti kathyate. Dehabhritamra. Sharirinam Shreshtha. Arjuna. Atra asmin dehe sharire aham kevalam adhiyajnaha. Anvayaha. Ksharaha bhavaha adhibhutam purushaha cha adhidaivatam. Dehabhritam vara. Atra dehe aham eva adhiyajnaha. Tatparyam. Vinashashilaha vastu samudayah adhibhutam iti uchyate. Sarva pranindriyanam anugrahakah hiranyagarbha cha adhidaivatam iti kathyate. Arjuna. Atra sharire ahameva adhiyajnaha iti jnatavyam. Madhvamatam. Bhutanam upakarinah Vishaya padarthaha adhibhutamityuchyate. Sarva jivabhimani sankarshanaha brahma va adhidaivatam ityuchyate. Sarva yajnanam prerakatvat bhoktrutvat cha vishnureva adhiyajnaha ityuchyate. Ramanjiyam. Adhidaivatam devatopari vartamanam. Vyakaranam. Sandhi. Ksharo bhavaha. Ksharaha bhavaha. Visarga sandhi. Sakaraha. Repaha. Ukaraha. Gunaha. Purushascha. Purushaha plus cha. Visarga sandhi. Sakaraha. Shutvam. Chadidaivatam. Cha plus adhidaivatam. Savarna dirgha sandhi. Adhiyajnyoham. Adhiyajnaha plus aham. Visarga sandhi sakaraha. Repaha ukaraha gunaha purvarupancha. Samasaha adhidaivatam. Daivateshu iti avyayi bhavaha. Dehabhritam. Deham vibhrati iti dehabhritaha. Tesham kartari upapada samasascha.
So here we don't have any proper Kriya Padam. Adhibhutam Ksharaha Bhavaha Purushaha cha Adhidaivatam Adhiyajnaha Ahameva Atra Dehe Dehabhritam Vara. So there is no Kriya Padam here. So we can take Asti as the Kriya Padam. Adhibhutam Ksharoha Asti. Okay, Ksharaha Bhavaha. Adhibhutam Ksharaha Bhavaha Asti. Anantaram Purushaha Adhidaivatam Asti. Adhiyajnaha Aham Asmi. Kutra Dehe. Dehe Adhiyajnaha Ahameva Asmi. Dehabhritam Vara. O Arjuna, Dehe ahameva adhiyajnaha asmi. Purushaha adhidaivatam asti. Adhibhutam ksharaha bhavaha cha asti. So what is this adhibhutam and adhidaivam? So here he asked so many questions and each one is being answered. So swabhavaha is nothing but adhyatmam and paramam aksharam is brahma. And then adhibhutam. What is adhibhutam? The prani, basically any kind of prani. What are pranis? They are ksharaha. The prani, today it is born, tomorrow it is dead. So ksharaha. And bhavaha. Bhavaha means that which can change. That which can change. So here any prani, all the pranis that are there here, they will be born, they will change, they will grow, again they will die. All such things come under bhutani. Right? Sarva bhutani we call. So that is nothing but adhibhutam here. Among them, again, Paramatma is there. In all these Bhutani, Paramatma is there. So, these forms of Paramatma in the form of Bhutani is called Adhibhutam. That which is in the Bhutam. Adhi. The Adhibhutam, the Adhi indicates that which is in the Bhutam. What is there in these Bhutani? Paramatma. So here, though the Bhutas are Ksharaha or Bhavaha, still there is Paramatma in them. So Adhibhutam is nothing other than the Paramatma. But at the outer level, it appears like Ksharaha. Okay? So that is why here Adhibhutam Ksharaha Bhavaha. So Bhavaha is like Padarthaha. Ksharaha is Vinashashilaha. Vinashashilaha Padarthaha. Padartha is like the thing that one can see, like the Vastu. Okay? And that which is also destructible. So that which is destructible and that which takes the shape of a padartha, that which we can see. Paramatma we cannot see, but all other things we can see. Why? Because they have some kind of form. So that is the bhavaha. So ksharaha and bhavaha, that is adhibhutam. But in that Paramatma is also there. That also we have to keep in mind. It is not only the form that you see with your naked eye, but it is also that which you cannot see. The Paramatma exists in that also. That is Adhibhutam. Anantaram Adhidaivam. So Adhidaivam Purushaha. Purushaha cha Adhidaivatam is given in the shloka. So what is Adhidaivatam? Purushaha. And what is Purushaha? Purshu Shete Purushaha. We discussed this in the previous class also. So that which is there in every body. Each body has a jiva, but then there is one thing that is there in all the shariras. That is none other than Paramatma again. That is called Purushaha. So Purushaha is not just one person. We refer to, regularly we call Purushaha as just any person, right? But it is not really any person. It is Paramatma only. Parama Purushaha, that is why we say. So Purushaha is none other than Paramatma. So he who exists in all the shariras is known as Purushaha. So that,
Sharira Sambandhinaha.
Yes, correct. He who exists in all the shariras. He who exists in all the shariras is called Purushaha. So that Purushaha is called Adhidaivatam. And in the Upanishads or the Vedas, that Purushaha is also referred to as Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha, he is referred to as. Here also it is given, no?
Yes.
Somewhere. Adhibhutam iti vyavahriyate Purushaha cha Hiranyagarbha cha. So that is referred to as Hiranyagarbha. It indicates that he is there in every sharira. So here, so that is nothing other than the Adhidaivatam. Prathama Daivam also. So the very first existence of the Devata, that is called Adhidaiva. And then adhi yajnaha. Again, in the yajnas, who is there? Whatever you do, this has already been told in the previous shlokas, adhyayas. Whatever form you are worshipping, in that form also I am only there. You are only looking at a different form, thinking it is a different devata, but no, that is none other than me. But since you want to look at that in that particular form and think that that form is different than who I am, you will be restricted till there only. Whatever you are praying for, that form, that will be given. But again, that also is being given by me only. But that person who is worshipping that form does not know that. As long as he thinks that that devata is different from Paramatma, he will not know that. Though you are worshipping different forms, if you understand that Paramatma is the Mula Swarupa of all these forms, then that is a different thing. But if you think that this particular form or deity is totally different, Paramatma is different, this deity is different, I am worshipping this deity for me to get this benefit, then you will be given that benefit. I am only giving you that benefit. You think that that particular deity is giving you, but in the back end, I am the one who is giving you. Okay, so here also adhi yajnaha. Similarly, when you are doing yajna, you think you are offering whatever you are offering in the yajna, you think you are offering to that particular deity for whose purpose you are doing. Ganapati homam, they say this homam, that homam. So you think you are offering it to that particular deity. But no, there also I am only there. Whatever you are offering also is me only. That also we have seen about the yajna, right? The person who is doing the yajna is Paramatma. The person, whatever padartha is being offered into the yajna is again Paramatma. That which is worshipped, the God that is worshipped through this yaga is also none other than Paramatma. So adhi yajnaha is also none other than myself. I am the yajna swarupam. I am the yajna. I am, the one who is being worshipped in the form of yajna rupam. So here, in this deham, in the sharira also, in every sharira also, I am only there. So whatever is being offered to the sharira, it is being offered to me, who is in this sharira. Okay, in the deham also, I am only there. So sarvam ahameva. Everywhere I am only there. So that is here adhiyajnaha ahameva atra. Dehe dehabhritam vara. So dehe. So not only in the outside yajnas, the yajna, whatever, see this sharira itself is like a temple. Whatever we offer to this sharira is like a yajna again. That is the reason why there are so many ways or restrictions how we should eat and how we should what we should do and all this. Why? Because this sharira is considered to be the most sacred thing. Why? Because only through this sharira we are able to understand the Paramatma. Without this sharira we cannot, especially the manava sharira. Why? Because there are other pranis, they also have sharira, but they are not able to understand Paramatma Tattva Jnanam, nor are they able to do any kind of nama smarana. Only we are able to do. So this manava sharira is like a devalaya, in which again Paramatma is the devaha, and whatever we are offering to this sharira, it is like offering to the Paramatma himself. Like that we can assume. So then what will happen? Automatically we will do all the right things. If we consider this body as the Paramatma himself, then we will do all the right things. We will not eat junk food. We will not offer things that are not good for health, or we will try to take care of it and everything. Right? So this sharira, in this sharira also I am only there. That is what Paramatma is saying. So dehe ahameva atra. Asmin dehe sharire ahameva. Aham kevalam adhiyajnaha. So I am the one that is there in the sharira also. Not only in the yajna that are done physically outside, even in the body, whatever yajna is happening, there also, that also, it is me only. And why is it referred to as yajna in the sharira? Because again, we are offering to this sharira. So that is why we have to consider that also as yajna only. That has been discussed in other shlokas also, right? That Jataragni we say. So that Jataragni, to satisfy that Jataragni, we are offering food. That is a kind of yajna. So for everything, for every sense, for every indriya, whatever we are offering, we can consider it as a yajna. We discussed that earlier about different kinds of yajnas, and there is no rule that one has to do only one kind of yajna. Whatever is feasible to a particular individual, whatever they are able to adapt to, one can do. So with the Shravanendriya, you can do constantly listening to Namasmarana. That also is a kind of yajna. You are using your Shrotrendriyam to do that. Or singing. Okay, Nama, like singing of the name of the God. So you are using the Vagendriya to do that kind of yajna. So like this, you can use each of your indriyas to do yajna. So that that yajna again is none other than myself. So the yajna that is there in your body is also me only. So like this, this shloka explains how Paramatma is there in every form, in everywhere. So that is the Adhibhutam and Adhidaivam. And each of these words are not just taken like that. All these are again given in the Upanishads. So ultimately what in the next shlokas it will be said that just having the Shraddha is not enough, or doing something is not enough. As per the Vedas, as per the Upanishads, whatever is told in the Upanishads, only by practicing that only one can achieve the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam is also told. So again, all these shlokas and the words specifically used in each of these shlokas also have an importance. They are simply not picked just like that, the wording. Each of these word is taken from some mantras of the Upanishads, and it has a significance. Okay. And Adhidaivam, like we said, each indriya of our body has a devata, associated with it, which helps us use that indriya. So say for example, as an example, the Agni devata is responsible for the Vagendriya. Okay, so Agni is the devata that helps this Vagendriya to work. And Hiranyagarbha is supposed to be the king of all the devatas. Like the Vagendriya is, there is a devata for Vagendriya. There is another devata for Shrotrendriya. Like this, for each Indriya and for each Prana, there is a devata associated. And who is the king of all these devatas? It is the Hiranyagarbha. Okay? And that Hiranyagarbha is none other than Purushaha. And this Hiranyagarbha or the Purushaha is also known by another name, which is called Sutratma. Sutratma, as per the Brihadaranyupanishad. Okay, so it has several names, but ultimately what is being told is this Adhibhutam is nothing other than, or Adhidaivam. Adhidaivam is none other than the Purushaha. And the Purushaha...
Hiranyagarbha is Brahma also, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, ultimately, that Purushaha again is none other than the Parabrahma. But in this context, he is referred to as Purushaha. Why? Because he exists in every Sharira. That is why here in this context, that same Paramatma is referred to as Purushaha. Daivam is also Paramatma, Adhibhutam is also Paramatma. In everything, in all these, again, everything is leading to Paramatma only. But for us to understand, when you are looking at a Vastu, it is a Vastu, but there is Paramatma, that is Adhibhutam.
Yes.
When you are looking at a Devata, that is Adhidaivam. There also there is Paramatma. These are all the like forms that we are able to see in this world. But actually behind all this, the actual Paramatma, that supernatural energy, or however you want to perceive it, is not perceivable with our Kevala Indriyas, right? We cannot
Yes.
simply perceive the Paramatma with our Indriyas. What are we able to perceive with these Indriyas are these, the Vastu, the Devata forms, and all these. The Indriyas, what you are able to do with the Indriyas, these you are able to see. Because you are able to see or feel or touch, you are able to believe. Now, when somebody is not able to see, they cannot imagine how so many colors are there. When somebody is not able to hear, they cannot imagine so many kinds of sounds will be there. But only somebody who can hear or listen will understand that there are so many different kinds of sounds. So if a person who is not able to hear, if he says there is no sound, just because he is not able to hear, if he says there is no sound, will that work? It won't. We understand that. Why? Because we are able to hear. So when somebody who is not able to hear, if he says there is no sound, we won't agree. Why? Because we are able to hear the sounds. Say, for example, we are also not able to hear. Then we will definitely agree with that other person that there are no sounds. Right? So
Yes.
just because somebody is not able to hear, perceive the sound with his indriya does not mean sound does not exist. Similarly, just because with our indriyas we are not able to perceive the Paramatma, we cannot say that Paramatma does not exist. Just because we are not able to perceive. So that is the logic that the Nayayikas use with the Buddhists. This is the kind of logical statements that they make, because that is a totally different topic, but I just wanted to remind how our Nayayikas tried to prove the existence of the Vedas and the Paramatma and all that with people who do not believe in it. So we have to provide an argument which they can understand. So many times, this is the most common thing. Oh, you say God exists. Where is he? There are children who try to ask, there is a Big Bang theory, there is no God there. People have, scientists have, have gone there, they have seen there is no milk ocean, there is no this, there is no that. Okay, so some of the things have been fabricated for, for whatever reason. But again, just because we are not able to see, it does not mean things do not exist. So that we have to keep in mind, that we have to constantly keep in mind. Just because we are not able to see something, we cannot simply brush it off as it does not exist. Like even when we are learning Vyakaranam, many times we have many questions. I don't consider myself as a person who has studied the complete Vyakaranam. So if I don't understand something, or if something appears a little different from what I have already studied, I would like to look into it more. I don't like to make a decision there and there, or a definite statement that no, this is it. We cannot do that because there is so much that we don't know. What we know is very little. Within that, whatever we know, if something looks contradictory, we simply should not say that this is wrong. We have to look into it more because there is so much more that we don't know. With that attitude, I feel that we can learn more because we are looking for an answer. If we close it there, if we say, oh, this is wrong, this does not exist, or this is it, then there is no scope for us to look into it and learn. We are not open. We have closed our mind right there. So similarly here, so whenever somebody says, oh, you can't see it, so how can you say that God is there or Paramatma is there? So there are so many things that we cannot see, and we are incapable of seeing. Just because we are incapable, we cannot say that nobody else also can see. So like in the previous yugas, the rishis were able to, they have Duradarshana, right? How are they able to see? So when we listen to such stories, people think that these are all fabricated. How can somebody see something beyond? So they had that kind of Shakti, in them where they are able to capture that, they have that wavelength to see. That is only the modern science where these antennas are able to capture that wavelength. Can you see the different wavelengths in the air? We cannot. But that piece of equipment is able to capture it. We are able to hear, depending on the focus that you have, we can hear certain sounds while others cannot hear. As mothers, we can hear the baby's cry, the slightest movement a child does, we are able to immediately attend to it. But when other people are there, they cannot, because they are not focused on that. We are focused on that. So they will wonder, oh, we didn't hear a thing. How did you know that the child woke up? Because we have our focus on that, we are able to hear that. They don't have their focus on that, so they are not able to hear that. So it all depends on what we are focusing on. So similarly, here also we can look at it in that way. So depending on the focus and the abhyasa that we do, certain people are able to perceive certain things and certain people are not able to perceive certain things. For that, some people might need little abhyasa, some people might need more abhyasa. Again, that also can change. Like the Sangeetam. Now, some people are able to distinguish between the Shruti or the Raga, whereas for some people, everything will sound the same. Why is it sounding the same? There is a difference. But for this particular person, that level of knowledge is not there. So for them, they may not be able to recognize the difference in the swaras or the Shruti and all that. So just because we are not able to perceive it, we cannot simply say there is no difference. There will be difference. We are not capable. We are still not at that level. That is the kind of perception and open-mindedness if we keep, then we will be able to learn more. Okay. So that is adhiyajnaha. So here all of these are told in the fourth shloka. Okay. So
So
now
complicated. Bhagavanta is so complicated.
So here this is given in the Taittiriyopanishad and the Chandogyopanishad about the Adhi-yajnaha. Okay, how this yajna is everything related to yajna, and how it is Paramatma himself is the yajna. All this is very clearly told in all of the Upanishads, not all of the Upanishads. In each of the Upanishads, about different aspects, it is told. Okay.
So in a nutshell, all three Paramatma only.
All are Paramatma. See, Kim Tat Brahma, Brahma is Paramatma. Kim Adhyatmam, Adhyatmam is also Brahma. But in the context, again, Kim Karma, Karma is also
Karma is called yajna karma samujjitaha karma namaka yajna.
Yes. So like this, everything in the previous shloka, not in the previous, in several shlokas previous, like it has been told that I am everything, right? When that has already been told, it has already been told that everything, in everything and everywhere and every thing is myself only. So, but again, it is being even more clearly explained, because if we simply say everything is Parabrahma or Paramatma, there might be still a little confusion. Okay, this I'm able to see, that I'm not able to see. How is this Paramatma? How is that? So again, here the classification is clearly being told. And even through all these classifications also, whether it is Adhibhutam or Adhidaivam or Karma or Brahma or whatever it is, however it is, in all different forms also, it is Paramatma only. Finally, in the Sharira also, it is me only. So, in that way, more clarity, to give more clarity to somebody who is seeking the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam, because we need to understand the Tattvam of Paramatma. How are we going to understand the Tattvam of Paramatma? Only if it is explained in this detail. The Ksharam is also Paramatma, Aksharam is also Paramatma. Aksharam is Paramatma, Brahma. Brahma is Aksharam, which is Paramatma. And then what is this Ksharam? Here it is told, no? Adhibhutam. So Adhibhutam is Ksharam, but that also is again Paramatma. So these padarthas that are there, the things that are being born, the things that are growing, the things that again die, that also is, that is Ksharam. That is why they are being destroyed. But that also is again Paramatma. So like this, that which is Ksharam, that which is Aksharam, everything is me only. So at that level of clarity, if one gets, it will become easy for us to perceive Paramatma in everything. If we only think, oh, Paramatma is something that is Nitya, that is true. Paramatma is something that is Nitya, but he also exists in that Anitya also. He exists in the Anitya. This Maya itself is in him. We studied that also in several shlokas before, that this Maya is nothing other than that is a part of me. So, so that is also, some word is used, which I'm not able to recollect, for this Maya, which indicates that that is also very pavitram, because it is again part of Paramatma. Right? So, so the Prakriti is Maya. Though it is Maya, it is none other than Paramatma. So like this, at this level of clarity, if we have, only then we will be able to perceive Paramatma in everything. Otherwise, we think Paramatma is somewhere. That which is right in front of me is not Paramatma. So, that feeling will not come. That feeling of Paramatma is everywhere will not come. If that does not come, then what happened to Dhruva? He was not able to see Paramatma in his stepmother initially. So that is the reason why, though he did that kind of tapas, and even Vishnu was there right in front of him, he was not offered moksha. Why? Because he still had some abhyasa to do. So everything, sarvam jagat paramatma, that kind of state of mind should come. Only then one can obtain the Paramapadam. Understanding that everything is Paramatma only is that itself is obtaining Paramapadam. Because now everything, you will lose that, you will lose the boundaries where our Sharira is ending, where somebody else's Sharira is starting, where this Akasha is there. We will lose all the boundaries once we understand the fact that Sarvam Jagat Paramatma. That itself is obtaining moksha. There is none other than that. Obviously, just the only thing that will be left is we have to leave the body. That sharira, one has to leave. That's all. Otherwise, everything else is already achieved. So to attain that kind of state, we have to understand the tattvam. And how are we going to understand the tattvam? Only when you know. So initially, it will appear as though this particular thing is made out of mud, that particular thing is made out of water, this particular thing is made out of something else. Like this, we are distinguishing and looking at them separately. But if we know that the vastu, any kind of vastu, is Paramatma himself, then there is no differentiation. Only at, how do you say, only for the usage that differences we notice. That's all. But in everything behind, if we see that Paramatma is there and only the forms are changing, like how, say, for example, water is there. Whether it is in the vapor form or in the liquid form or in the solid form like an ice cube, we know that it is water. Even when it is like ice, we know that it is water. We know the complete composition of it. So we don't try to distinguish between the three when it comes to the material behind it. Though the forms are different, we know. Similarly, pots, though they are of different sizes or shapes or whatever color, we know what it is made out of. So we are able to look at it. So when you see some new vastu, the first thing we ask is, what is it made out of? Once we know what it is made out of, we feel more comfortable whether to use it or not. If it is a padartha that we know, then we comfortably purchase it. Oh, this came in a different shape, but I know what it is made out of. I am familiar with that material. I have used it before, so I am going to try this. We feel more comfortable. If it is made out of something that we don't know, that material we don't know, that padartha we don't know, so then do we feel comfortable to buy something and cook in it and eat if we don't know the material that it is made out of? No, obviously we won't feel comfortable. So we have to understand the tattvam of that material, of that padartha, to completely feel comfortable about it and how to make use of it for our own benefit. If it is a good padartha, and if we know that by cooking in that padartha, if we, there will be some benefit to the health or whatever, we feel comfortable for whatever usage. If it is for cooking in that aspect, if it is for something else in that aspect, we feel better only if we know the complete tattvam of that padartha. For objects only, we need to understand the tattvam to be able to use it for our benefit. Then how can we not understand, or why should we not understand the Paramatma Tattvam to obtain moksha? How can moksha be obtained without understanding the Paramatma Tattvam? So that is the reason why the Paramatma Tattvam is very important to understand. Only when one understands it completely, one will be able to achieve it. Without understanding anything, as a matter of fact, we can apply that to everything. Even what we eat, only when we know what padarthas go into that item, we feel comfortable eating it. If we make it, we know. If we go to somebody else's house or a restaurant, we try to ask what it is made out of. Only when we know that all the ingredients are something that we are familiar with, we feel comfortable eating it. Otherwise, we don't want to try, or we want to know more about that new padartha that is used, what it is made out of, that padartha. Is it a seed? Is it a grain? Is it this or that? We want to know why. For such things only we are so curious about knowing. So Paramatma Tattvam also is like that only. We have to know it completely. What are all the forms that it comes in? Why is it in this form? What is it that is behind that? So Arjuna also is asking for the same reason. There are so many different things here. What is it exactly? What is it exactly? Okay, behind Paramatma only. But why so many names? Why Adhibhutam? Why Adhidaivam? Why? Because in the form of Adhibhutam, it has a certain qualities. In the form of Adhidaivam, it has different set of qualities. So we need to know all these. Only then we will get comfortable with Paramatma Tattva Jnanam, which is important to obtain moksha. And whatever bhava we have, that also is important. We have to train our mind to have only certain bhava so that we don't carry it on into the next life. Or whatever we want to carry on into our next life, that bhava only we have to practice, do abhyasa in having that bhava. So what is that? Namasmaranam, Paramatma Tattva Jnanam. So again, if we are still not able to understand the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam, we can start with Bhagavat Namasmarana. We are not able to understand the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam. It is so complex. So now what am I supposed to do? Tomorrow I might die. So in the Antakala, in the Prayana Kala, oh, it says that I have to think about Paramatma Tattva Jnanam and I'm not able to understand anything about it. So a person like me, what should I do? During Prayana Kala, what should I do? The simplest thing is Namasmarana. By doing Namasmarana, by doing Abhyasa, will something come suddenly to us? Can somebody run a marathon just like that? No. They need so many months and days of practice before the actual day. Anything, as a matter of fact, not only marathon, anything. One needs to do Abhyasa, only then they will be able to do on that day of exam or whatever. Exam or tournament or concert or whatever. People cannot do it just overnight. Lot of abhyasa is needed. Whether it is a marathon, whether it is a singing competition, running competition, swimming or math exam or whatever it is. That abhyasa is needed and then it occurs to them on that day in that pressure. there is a lot of pressure on the day of examination or a match or whatever, or a concert or whatever it is. At home, in the comfort of our home, they will do, even our children. They will do very well. But in exam, because of the tension, the time restriction, so many other distractions, people are talking, the invigilator is constantly reminding this and that, so they are distracted. Only if they have proper abhyasa among all those factors, they will be able to focus and get it done. Similarly, we also have to do that abhyasa while we are healthy, that namasmarana, so that on our deathbed, when we are ready to leave, we will be preoccupied with so many things. Array, I forgot to tell my children about the money that I saved for them. I forgot to tell about this. I forgot to tell about that. I have to take care of this. I have to take care of that. Oh my God, I don't know how much pain I will be in. There are so many things that we are anxious about. So it will be easy for us to forget to do the Bhagavat Namasmarana. But what happens if we don't do it? We will carry all these worries into the next Sharira. There also we will be worrying only about such things. Do we want that? We definitely don't want that. But that is what will happen if we don't do Abhyasa. So if we constantly keep doing Namasmarana, at that time, the minute we want to do Namasmarana, it will come easy to us because that Abhyasa is there. Though the worries are there, it will be easy for us to remind ourselves, okay, the worries will be there. I have taken care of them. I have already told them, now let me focus on the Namasmarana. So it will come easy to us. So that is what the next few shlokas will be telling about. Because there will be so much of pain during that Prayana Kala. We don't know how we will go. Maybe we might have some kind of disease which is very painful. So in that pain, will we remember to do this Bhagavat Namasmarana? Normally we wouldn't. But if the Abhyasa is there, then it will become easy for us to remember that during the Prayana Kala, no matter in how much ever pain we might be. So that is the only solution given, Abhyasa. That applies to us even now with what we do on a daily basis. Like many times we discuss, right, how to remember this. There are so many shabdas. We are unable to remember the halanta shabdas. So abhyasa. Abhyasa is the only way. It appears that we will not be able to memorize it no matter what. But try writing it like 10 times a day, 20 times a day. If that doesn't work, 30 times, 50 times. As many times as it takes, you will get it. But it differs from person to person. For one person, maybe 5 times if they practice, they will get it. For another person, 10 times. For another person, 50 times. That depends again on various other factors, which are not important right now. What is important right now is Abhyasa, no matter how much ever Abhyasa it takes, that is the only way to achieve what we want. Whether it is remembering a halanta shabda or remembering things to do on a daily basis, or remembering to do the Bhagavat Nama Smarana during the Prayana Kala. Whether it is as simple as this or as tough as that, Abhyasa is the only way. So that is what is being told in the next shloka. So fourth we completed. Fifth, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaha prayati saha madbhavam yati nasti atra samshayaha. So that is what is being told in the next shloka. Okay. So Alivelu Bhagini.
भगिनी अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति स मद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः। अन्तकाले, अन्तकालः पुंलिङ्ग सप्तमी एकवचनं, च अव्ययं, माम् अश्मशब्दस्य द्वितीया विभक्ति एकवचनं, एव अव्ययं, स्मरन् शत्रन्तपरिचयं स्मर् धातुः, स्मरन् मुक्त्वा द्वान्तं धातुः मुच् धातुः मुक्त्वा कलेवरं कलेवरं नपुंसकलिङ्गं प्रथमा एकवचनं यः यत्शब्दस्य प्रथमा एकवचनं प्रयाति लट्लकारं प्रावुपसर्ग या धातुः प्रथमपुरुष एकवचनं सः तकारान्त पुंलिङ्ग प्रथमा एकवचनं मद्भावं भावं नपुंसकलिङ्ग द्वितीय एकवचनं అయితే ప్రథమ పుంలింగమా అది పుంలింగం ప్రథమ ఏకవచనం యాతి లట్లకారం ప్రథమ పురుష ఏకవచనం నాస్తి అస్తి నా అస్తి లట్లకారం క్రియాపదం అత్ర
నా
అవ్యయం అస్తి అత్ర అవ్యయం సంశయः పుంలింగ ప్రథమ ఏకవచనం పదార్థः అంతకాలే చ మరణసమయే మామేవ స్మరన్ చింతయన్ కలేవరం దేహం ముక్త్వా పరిత్యజ్య యః ప్రయాతి యః గచ్చతి సహ పురుషः మద్భావం మద్రూపతాం యాతి ప్రయాతి అత్ర అస్మిన్ విషయే సంశయः సందేహः నాస్తి నా వర్తతే అన్వయः యః అంతకాలే చ మాం ఏవ స్మరన్ కలేవరం ముక్త్వా ప్రయాతి సహ పురుషः మద్భావం యాతి అత్ర నా సంశయः తాత్పర్యం యః అంతకాలే మాం ఏవ చింతయన్ శరీరం పరిత్యజతి సహ పురుషः అవశ్యం మదభేదం ప్రాప్నోతి అస్మిన్ విషయే సందేహः నా వర్తతే మాధ్వమతం మద్భావం మయి భగవతి భావం నిర్దుఃఖ నిరతిశయానందాత్మికాం సత్తాం ఉపయతి వ్యాకరణం సంధిః సా మద్భావం సహ మద్భావం విసర్గ సంధిః లోపః నాస్తి అత్ర ఎణ్ సంధిః समासः अंतकाले अंतस्य कालः तस्मिन् षष्ठी तत्पुरुषः मद्भावं मम भावः तं षष्ठी तत्पुरुषः धन्यवादः भगिनी
धन्यवादः भगिनी अत्र क्रियापदं
प्रयाति याति अस्ति
अत्र कर्तृपदं
कलेवरं स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं कदा कादु
यः प्रयाति तो यः कर्तृपदं यः कदा प्रयाति अंतकाले
प्रयाति
यः अंतकाले प्रयाति यः अंतकाले किं कुर्वन् प्रयाति
स्मरन्
प्रयाति किं स्मरन् प्रयाति और कं स्मरन् प्रयाति
मामेव
स्मरन् पुनः किं कृत्वा प्रयाति
मुक्त्वा प्रयाति
किं मुक्त्वा
कलेवरं
मुक्त्वा प्रयाति सो यः कलेवरं मुक्त्वा मामेव स्मरन् अंतकाले यः प्रयाति सः किं करोति
याति
किं याति और कं
मद्भावं याति
So he who leaves the body thinking of me during the antakala, he will definitely reach me. Madbhavam yati. He will become me. He will become or me or come to me or obtain me. Atra samshayah nasti. So for that person to reach me, if he is thinking of me during the antakala, he will definitely reach me. There is no doubt about it. And he also should have no doubt. While thinking of the Paramatma during the Antakala, we should not have any kind of samshayas. I am leaving. What will become of my children? What will become of my property? Who will steal my property? Will they give it to my children? That samshayas also should not be there. Only then the smarana we are having on Paramatma is genuine. If we are having all these samshayas in our mind and keep doing the Bhagavan Nama Smarana, that doesn't count. Okay, when we are doing the Bhagavan Nama Smarana, it means we are leaving everything in the hands of God. Complete surrenderness should be there. Otherwise, there is no point to it. That Shraddha is lacking. It means that the Shraddha is lacking. If we are preoccupied with other thoughts and only simply that Ucharana is there, that doesn't count. We should have that complete surrenderness because your mind is still not free. It is still attached to those Vastuni. So having all those thoughts in the mind and simply doing the namasmarana will not help. That complete surrenderness, that shraddha, the complete, manas should be there on the namasmarana. Okay. So the next shloka. Like, yeah, so like I said, for the sadharana janaha, the namasmarana is enough. For the upasakaha, that manas sthiram, like that complete focus should be there, not just the namasmarana. Here again, even during the namasmarana, the focus should be there. But for the upasakaha, that focus will be a little bit more. And whereas for the jnani, when the jnani is leaving the body, he already has the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam. So the same Tattva Jnanam, he should remind himself of the Tattva Jnanam. So though one has the Tattva Jnanam, it does not mean they are ready for the moksha yet. Say, for example, again coming back to the example of Dhruva. He understood the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam. Otherwise, why does Vishnumurti come and appear before him? He cannot. But he is still not ready for moksha. Why? Because there is still some abhyasa that needed to be done. About looking, he knows the Paramatma Tattvam, but he is unable to see it everywhere. So just understanding the Paramatma Tattva Jnanam is not enough. The implementation also should be there. We should be able to put it into practice. That abhyasa should be there. So constantly reminding ourselves, we know that if we eat too much of sugars, we might end up with some health problems. We know. But are we all putting it into practice? Are we practicing with every meal that we take or every food that we take? Are we making sure that, the processed food is not there? Only healthy sugars are there or natural sugars are there. Are we doing it with every meal that we are taking? Maybe or maybe not. But we know the tattvam of the sugar, the processed sugar. We know what will happen when it enters our body, how our body will, be affected by it. We know the tattvam of the processed foods. But are we putting it into acharana? Similarly, understanding the Paramatma Tattvam is one thing. Putting it into practice is a totally different thing. So that also is needed. So that a person who has Paramatma Tattva Jnanam, Antakale, he should again be thinking of the same, trying to understand it and put it in Abhyasa. So if we categorize all the people into three levels, one, Sadharana Janaha, they don't have any kind of Paramatma Tattva Jnanam. So what can they do? What should they do during the Antakala? They have to do Bhagavan Nama Smarana. The second set of people, they are Upasakas. They don't have the complete Paramatma Tattva Jnanam, but they are, they have a little bit more Shraddha than the ordinary people. So what can they do? The same Shraddha they can continue. And with more Shraddha than a regular person, they will do the Bhagavan Nama Smarana. The third kind of people, the Jnani, he should still be able to practice that even during that time. Practicing when everything is convenient is one thing. Practicing at the time of Antakala is totally a different thing. No matter how much ever we prepare for the exam, at the time of exam, our mind can go blank. Right? So even that means that even more of abhyasa is needed, not only of the subject, but also how to compose ourselves during such pressure timings. So when there is pressure, our brain is not working as it should, which means not that we don't know the subject matter. We know the subject matter, but under pressure, the brain is not functioning. So what do we need to practice on? We need to practice on keeping the brain calm during pressure times. Then once we achieve that, automatically it will remember all the subject and we will be able to write. So here the abhyasa is not memorizing again and again the subject matter, but training the brain to be calm during pressure timings. So So similarly, during Antakala, there will be a lot of pressure on us. Different kinds. The pressure can be any kind. We don't know what kind of pressure will be there. Also, we don't know. We cannot imagine that right now. But we have to constantly keep telling ourselves, no matter what the type of pressure we are going to be in during the Antakala, yeah, this is the right opportunity to say this. So what do we have to pray? Earlier also we discussed this. So whenever we are worshipping, what should we worship? We should worship the Paramatma to give us the strength. Just pray that you give me the strength. I don't know what is going to happen going forward or what is best for me. I don't even know what is good for me. You know everything. So you bless me with the strength needed for me to handle, whether the good or the bad that comes in my way. That is the only way we can pray for the best of our benefit, because we really don't know. There is a small child in a bag. You have, one very good pen and a small something else, stone. And if you ask the child to choose without knowing what is in store for her, you are planning to give her that very beautiful pen, but she doesn't know what you are planning to give her. So if you ask her, what do you want? And if you let her ask, she might be asking a biscuit or a chocolate. And then after she asks, you have to give that only because she asked for it. So you will give her a chocolate. And then the chance of that child getting that beautiful pen or book or whatever more precious is in store for her, she lost that opportunity. That child lost that opportunity. So in her mind, she was only able to think of that chocolate or biscuit. But if she would have said, I don't know anything, what is good for me, you know better than me, so you give me what you think is best for me. And then she would have got that beautiful pen, right? So similarly, we also, when we ask Paramatma, we don't know what to ask. We ask simple, small things, which are of no use. They are only useful for a few minutes or days or whatever. But if we leave that, he will give us what is beneficial for us in the long run. Similarly, regarding this Santakala also, how we should keep praying is, I don't know how my Antakala is going to be. Okay, give me the strength. Depending on the karmas that I have done, give me the strength to what comes to my mind during that Antakala. If you think I have done good things, let good thoughts come to me during that time. Whatever I have done, based on that, you give me the strength to think of what is best for me to think at that time. If we keep praying in that way, automatically that only will be granted to us. So we will, though we don't have the Shakti, though we don't have the Shakti at that time, because of whatever reason, we are weak or we are in so much of pain. But because of what we have prayed for all these days and years, during that time, even though we are weak, even though we are incapable, those thoughts will come to us. And once those thoughts come to us, it will the transition will happen easily. And into the next life also, we take only that. So all these other worries, which are not really important, will be left behind. So that is what we should worship. Whenever we are worshipping, not only about this life, during the Antakala also, you know what I have done, good or bad. Accordingly, you give me the strength to think of you. Let my thoughts be upon you during that Antakala. Like that also we can start doing, practicing that worship. While we are praying every day to the God, we can think of adding this also in our prayers. Okay, during my Antakala, may your thoughts come to me. Please give me the strength, no matter in whatever condition I am at that point of time. Please give me the strength for your thoughts to come to me. It doesn't matter whether one has done satkarma or not, whether we have done all the right things. If we haven't done the abhyasa of Bhagavat Nama Smarana, during that time, that will not come to us because that abhyasa is not there. Just by praying also, just if we keep praying, you give me your thoughts, it won't happen. We have to do abhyasa and then ask him. See, I am doing the abhyasa of your Namasmarana. So at the time of my Antakala, please, because I will be under a lot of other pressures, please help me so that I can do your Namasmarana. I have done so much of abhyasa. So make it a little easy for that abhyasa to work and your Namasmarana to come into my thoughts at that point of time. That also should be there. Not only the karmas is there, and abhyasa also should be there. So like that. So there is a small, funny story in this sense. So there will be a person who leads a very dharmika life. He does all the right things, but he does not. He's not a very udara person, but he does not expect anybody else's, things also. He gives as per his what he thinks is to be given. Like if he takes help from somebody, he returns it to them, but he does not give anything simply, which is not wrong. Not that it is wrong, just that is his nature. But he leads a very dharmika life. He's a very nice person and everything. So one day old age comes and he will also be near to his prayanakala. So the people, his family gather around him. So they will be thinking he's such a dharmika person. He led such a beautiful life. So he should, the exit also should be like that. So we have to make him do something good even during this Antakala. So they want, but he's very weak. He cannot do any dhanam. He's that weak. All his limbs and everything are so weak. So but he's able to speak a little bit. So they think, okay, let us make him say the Narayana word, and then that will help him, attain, Sadgati. So they'll try to tell Narayana, Narayana, they keep saying, so that he has to repeat. But his hearing also comes down, so he's not able to hear what they're trying to say. So they will bring photos of Vishnu Murthy and show him. So then he says, photo. Okay, not photo, you have to say Narayana, they think. So how to make him say the word Narayana? So they think, okay, let us at least help him say half the word. Then at least maybe he will get half the punyam. And so they will bring this, Nara. In Telugu, it is called Nara, it is jute. We call it Nara. So they bring that jute and put it before him. So hoping that he will say Nara. So there is another word for that. We call that Pichu in regular Telugu. It is called Pichu. So he says Pichu, he says. He won't say Nara. So why did it not occur to him to say Nara? He knows. He knows that it is also called Nara, but at that point, it did not occur to him. Why? Because he has never done Bhagavan Namasmarana. So that did not occur to him. Though he is a dharmika person, though he did all the right things, he did not do anything bad to anybody, but still, no matter how much his family tried, he was not able to say that thing. Why? Because that abhyasa was not there. If he had done the abhyasa with little effort or with little reminders, maybe it would have come to him. So it is, put in a little fun way. But the idea behind this story is that abhyasa is needed for everybody, no matter how much dharmika life they have led. That abhyasa should also be there. Only then one can remember to utter, Bhagavan Nama Smarana during the Antakala. Okay, so coming to the 6th shloka. Surya Bhagini?
यं वापि स्मरन् भावं चदन्त्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भावभावितः यं यं यद् शब्दः द्वितीय विभक्ति द्वितीय एकवचनं वा अव्ययम् अपि अव्ययम् स्मरन् स्मृ धातुः शत्रुप्रत्यये प्रथमा भावं भावं नपुंसकलिङ्गं కదా ప్రథమ ఏకవచనం त्यजन् त्यजति लट्लकारं प्रथम ఏకవచనం ప్రథమ పురుష ఏకవచనం అంతే అంతః తకారాంత పుల్లింగ శబ్దం సప్తమి విభక్తి ఏకవచనం కలేవరం నపుంసకలింగం మకారాంత శబ్ద ప్రథమ ఏకవచనం తం తద్ శబ్ద ద్వితీయ విభక్తి ఏకవచనం మళ్ళా తం కూడా అదే తం ఏవ ఏవ అవ్యయం ఏతి ఏతి ఏ ధాతువు అవుతుందా
ఈ ధాతు
ఈ ధాతువు లట్లకారం ప్రథమ పురుష ఏకవచనం కౌంతేయ కౌంతేయ పద్ధతి ప్రత్యయం యకారాంత శబ్దం ప్రథమ పురుష ఏకవచనం సంబోధన సంబోధన సదా అవ్యయం తత్ తత్ భావ భావితః తత్ తకారాంత
భావితః
తద్భావ భావితః
భావిత అకారాంత పుంలింగ ప్రథమ
ఏకవచనం పదార్థः కౌంతేయ కుంతీపుత్ర యం యం వా అపి యాదృశం భావం దేవతా విశేషం స్మరన్ చింతయన్ అంతే అంతకాలే కలేవరం దేహం చేజతి ముంచతి సహ సదా సతతం తద్భావభావితః తదనుసంధాన సంస్కృతచిత్తః సన్ తం తం ఏవ తాదృశం దేవతా విశేషమేవ ఏతి ప్రాప్నోతి అన్వయః కౌంతేయ అంతే యం యం వాపి భావం స్మరన్ కలేవరం త్యజతి సహ సదా తద్భావభావితః తం ఏవ ఏతి తాత్పర్యం కౌంతేయ జీవః స్వస్య అంతకాలే యాదృశం భావం చింతయన్ శరీరం త్యజతి యస్య అనుసంధానం తేన పునః పునః కృతం సహ తస్య భావం ప్రాప్నోతి మాధ్వమతం యం పదార్థం చింతయన్ మరణముపయాతి సహ తమేవ పదార్థం అవాప్నోతి తస్మాత్ సతతం భగవన్నామస్మరణశీలః అంతే పరమాత్మానం యది స్మరతి తర్హి స్వకీయ ప్రారబ్ధాది నాశానంతరం భగవంతం ప్రాప్నోతి వ్యాకరణం సంధిః వాపి వా ప్లస్ అపి సవర్ణ దీర్ఘ సంధిః త్యజత్యంతే త్యజతి ప్లస్ అంతే ఎన్ సంధిః ఏవ ఇతి ఏవ ప్లస్ ఏతి వృద్ధి సంధిః సమాసః తద్భావభావితః తస్య భావః తద్భావః షష్ఠీ తత్పురుషः తద్భావేన భావితః తృతీయ తత్పురుషः
సో అత్ర క్రియాపదం కిం
త్యజతి
ఏతి
ఏతి
సో త్యజతి అత్ర కర్తృపదం కిం
త్యజతి యం త్యజతి
స్మరన్ త్యజతి. So here tyajati is yaha. We can take yaha tyajati. Yaha kada tyajati? Ante tyajati. Kim tyajati? Kalevaram tyajati. Kim kartum or kim kurvan tyajati? Smaran tyajati. Kim smaran tyajati? Bhavam smaran tyajati. So yam bhavam smaran ante kalevaram yaha tyajati saha tam eva eti. So he who leaves his body thinking of whatever he is thinking, that same thing he will obtain. That same thing. Tam tam eva eti. So there is also, our Puranas are all filled with the stories to give examples or for the lay person to understand easily all these. Because for everybody, this level of understanding may not be easy to follow. So that is why the existence of Puranas came. In the form of stories, the same things only will be told. So here there is a story of a particular sadhu. So what he thinks was, during his prayana kala, he thinks of a deer, like the animal deer. He happens to think of that, not that he wanted to think of a deer, or while he was thinking of a deer, unfortunately he loses his life or something. So in the next life, he will be born as a deer. In the next life, he will be born as a deer. So that is one example told. I don't know the complete story. There might be many other factors involving that, but this is one important thing. So similarly, while we are leaving, if we think of something or some person, what they did to us, a good way or a bad way, the same person will be associated with us in the next life also, in the same context. So say, for example, we have enmity with a person and we are thinking of that only constantly. During the prayana kala also, if we are thinking about that person and what they did to us and all that, in the next life also, somehow we will be associated with such kind of bhava only. Okay, whether it is a form or a thought or a whatever. If it is a good thing, that good thing also we will carry. That attachment will still be there. So like I was explaining earlier, some children are born with some talents. It is because they have been thinking of that in their purva janma while they are leaving the body. So the Sangeeta sadhana, it can be Nrityam, it can be some Ganitam, it can be something else, whatever it is. So the same bhava will be carried into their next life. Whether it is good or bad, it will be carried. But ultimately, what is our goal? To not have any kind of attachment, whether good or bad. It is not that we have to be detached only to the bad things. To the good things also, that detachment should come, only then we will be able to attain moksha. That complete detachment from the good and from the bad should be there. Only then that we will be able to break that birth and death life cycle. Otherwise, that life cycle can never be broken. If we have all the good thoughts, we will lead a good life. But still that birth will be there. Another birth will be there. We will again should be born into this world to pay the dues to the good deeds that we have done because of the attachment that we have. So that is why without phalakanksha, if we do our kriyas or karmas without any kind of phalakanksha, without any kind of attachment, then only we will be able to break that life and death cycle. So here also, whatever bhavam is there in the mind, antakale, that same bhavam they will obtain in the next life. Tad bhava bhavitaha sada asti. So that same thought will be carried on into the next birth. So here this is given in the Ishavashopanishad. It explains in more detail how the Antakala should be handled, what one should do during Antakala, what kind of abhyasa is needed so that we won't carry into the next life things that we don't want to. So how to do that abhyasa? All that in much more detail is given in Ishavashopanishad. Okay, the next shloka. Mahodaya, Lakshmi Narayana Mahodaya. Mahodaya, अस्ति वा?
अस्मि. श्रूयते किल?
श्रूयते इदानीं।
तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मर युध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्मे मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः। तस्मात् तत्शब्द पंचमी विभक्ति है कुछ सर्वेषु सर्वनाम शब्द सप्तमी बहुवचन कालेषु कालः
पुल्लिंग
पुल्लिंग सप्तमी विभक्ति बहुवचन माम माम अहम माम अस्मत् शब्द द्वितीय विभक्ति एक वचन अनुस्मर कंबाइंड वर्ड हुआ माम अनुस्मर
अनुस्मर इज अनु उपसर्ग स्मृ धातु
स्मृ धातु
मध्यम पुरुष
मध्य पुरुष एक वचन अनुस्मर स्मृ युध्य युध्य आल्सो
मध्यम पुरुष
एक वचन च अव्यय युद्धात् मयि अर्पित मया
अर्पित
अर्पित अर्पित मनोबुद्धिः मनोबुद्धि पृथक् अस्ति
मयि अर्पित
मयि अस्मत् शब्द सप्तमी विभक्ति एक वचन देन मनोबुद्धिः अर्पित मनोबुद्धि प्रथमा विभक्ति एक वचन किल बुद्धि स्त्रीलिंग स्त्रीलिंग माम एव माम अस्मत् शब्द प्रथम द्वितीय विभक्ति एक वचन एव अव्यय एष्यसि मध्यम पुरुष एक वचन तदनन्तरं असंशयः असंशयः
असंशयम् असंशयं पुल्लिंग द्वितीया विभक्ति एकवचनम्
असंशयः अस्ति श्लोके
असंशयः
आम् संशयः नास्ति संशयः नास्ति संकल्पात्मकं मनः पदार्थः पदार्थः तस्मात् ततः हेतोः सर्वेषु सकलेषु कालेषु समयेषु माम् अनुस्मर मां ध्याय युध्यस्व च युद्धं च कुरु मयि परमात्मनि अर्पितमनोबुद्धिः समर्पितचित्तः माम् एव परमात्मनम् एव एष्यसि प्राप्नोषि असंशयः संशयः नास्ति। अन्वयः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम् अनुस्मर युध्य च मयि अर्पितमनोबुद्धिः माम् एव एष्यसि असंशयः। तात्पर्यं ततः सकलेषु समयेषु मां ध्याय युद्धं च कुरु यदि मय्येव मनः समर्पयसि तर्हि मामेव प्राप्नोषि। अत्र संशयः नास्ति। संकल्पात्मकं मनः व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः पूर्वश्लोके आसीत् व्याकरणं संधि मयि अर्पितमनोबुद्धिः मयि प्लस अर्पितमनोबुद्धिः एणसन्धि बुद्धिर्मां बुद्धि प्लस मां विसर्गसन्धि रेफः एवैष्यसि एव एष्यसि वृद्धिसन्धि एष्यस्य संशयः एष्यसि प्लस असंशयः एणसन्धि समासः अर्पितमनोबुद्धिः मनश्च बुद्धिश्च मनोबुद्धौ द्वन्द्वः
मनोबुद्धि
मनोबुद्धि बुद्धि मनश्च बुद्धिश्च मनोबुद्धि बुद्धि स्त्रीलिंग द्वितीय विभक्ति द्विवचन किल अर्पिते मनोबुद्धि येन सह बहुव्रीहि असंशयः न संशयः न तत्पुरुष।
तो क्रियापदं किम् अत्र
एष्यसि एकमेव किल
अनुस्मर
स्मर अस्ति युध्य अस्ति तदपि
अनुस्मर युध्य एष्यसि
एष्यसि
त्रीणि क्रियापदानि सन्ति तो तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम् अनुस्मर त्वं युध्य अनन्तरं असंशयः माम् एव एष्यसि मयि अर्पितमनबुद्धिः
मयि अर्पितमनोबुद्धिः मामेव एष्यसि.
So if you have your complete manas and buddhi on me, then asamshayena mameva eshyasi. Then you definitely reach me without any doubt. But when sarveshu kaleshu
mam anusmara.
So sarveshu kaleshu. So don't wait until you reach the Tantakala. Before that also, all the time. Sarveshu
lifelong.
Mam anusmara. Yudhya cha means yudhya is here fighting in the sense of fighting with your manas to keep it under control and think of me. In that sense, we can take yudhya.
Okay.
So tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhya cha. So here yudhya, yuddham cha kuru. Yuddham with whom? With our own manas. So that you can focus on me. And then arpita mano buddhihi. So you will obtain to that state where your buddhi and manas is completely on me. You have surrendered to me completely. Then you will definitely reach me without any doubt. So here the important point in this shloka is sarveshu kaleshu. So this namasmarana should be done
without a break, continuously
in whatever we are doing. While we are cooking, this is Paramatma. Paramatma is there in every padartha. Paramatma is here. I'm cooking for Paramatma. I'm cooking with the Sharira given to me by Paramatma. Like that, in everything, if we constantly think of Paramatma and do his Namasmarana, then at the time of leaving also, we will, Paramatma has relieved me from this life. Okay, now I'm ready to move on. Somewhere else also I have studied, I think in the next shloka or where, like from balyam to adulthood. See, when a baby is born, every stage, every day the growth is there. From the baby stage, the child, it will become a child. From child to adolescent, from adolescence to adulthood, from adulthood to old age. Right? Now, are we celebrating or not? Except for the old age. All other stages we are celebrating. When a baby is born and when the baby is from the baby stage, when the baby becomes a toddler, from toddler to a child, we are celebrating every stage. But what is actually happening? The baby is growing old, right?
Yes.
But we are looking at it positively and we are celebrating. Similarly, when the jiva is leaving this body and entering into another body also, we have to look at it in that way only. Like how from the balyam to adulthood and from adulthood to vridhapyam, we are taking it for very easily. We are not getting worried about it or upset about it. We are taking it with, we understand the process and we take it. Similarly, this also should be taken like that only. When we start thinking like that, then that anxiety will not be there about the prayana kala. When that anxiety is not there about the prayana kala, then we are more prepared. We won't forget to do the Bhagavad Nama Smarana during that time, because we are getting ready. When you are getting ready to go to another place to travel, are we simply sitting and panicking, or are we preparing ourselves for the travel? We are packing everything that we need so that we don't face any inconvenience in the travel. We are packing everything that we need. When we are going to a colder place, we are packing extra blankets, some winter wear and all. Similarly, for this also, we have to look at it like that only. So in the Prayana Kala, what we need? I need to focus on the Bhagavan Nama Smarana. For that, the only way I can do is by doing Abhyasa now. So I have to start doing Abhyasa now, so that is what I need during my Prayana Kala. Not worrying about my property or my kids or something else or something else. What I need for that Prayanam is the Bhagavan Nama Smarana. And for that, the only way we prepare ourselves for that is Sarveshu Kaleshu Abhyasa.
Sarveshu Kaleshu.
So that is what. So depending on what kind of prayana we do, we pack accordingly. We prepare ourselves accordingly. For this prayana, this is what is needed. To be able to remember that at that point of time, abhyasa is needed now. So every day we have to do that kind of abhyasa. So then it will become easy for us at that point of time. With less effort, we will be able to do the Bhagavan Nama Smarana. Like how we take the growth.
We are praying daily. Yatechasi tatha kuru.
That's all. So like how we celebrate somebody's birthday in our family. We know that it is actually they are growing old, but we are still celebrating because we understand that is the process. Once a jiva is born, every year they grow. Similarly, this also, once a sharira is taken by the jiva, there will be a day when it has to leave the sharira. That also we have to take in the same way. That kind of thinking we have to slowly develop. As long as, all the responsibilities are done, whatever needs to be done is done, there is nothing to worry about it. Sometimes at a very young age, unfortunate things will happen. That is a different story. That times also we have to gain muster up that courage. There is a reason for that jiva to leave at such an early stage. There must be something behind it, right? Which we don't know. So though it is hard for us to take such things, we have to again think in that way and try to console ourselves. But once the jiva has lived their life, completed their responsibilities and is ready to leave, we should welcome it with a good positive feeling, and we will carry on that positive feeling into our next sharira. If we die with anxiety, that anxiety also gets carried there. So there is nothing to worry about. So we have to prepare early on. We should not wait until the pranakala. We have to prepare prayanakala. We have to prepare much, much ahead. If those are the things that will, if we think will bother us, we better take care of them right now while we are completely healthy. Whatever things we want to settle financially or other things, just, finalize them so that we don't have to worry about such things when we are at that point, because at that point our indriyas may not work properly. I did not take care of that, I did not take care of this, and now I am unable to take care because I'm weak. Such better now than worry about it later. So then we will automatically be more prepared. Oh, I've taken care of everything, so I don't have to worry about everything. Let me focus on the Bhagavan Nama Smarana. That will come easy to us at that point. Okay, then Charushila Bhagini. You have to come very close. There is still some disturbance in your voice.
9:30.
Oh, it's 9:30?
This is May.
Oh, 9:34. Okay, we'll stop here. Sorry, I didn't look at the time.
Excuse me, madam. I have one doubt. Astitva and Vyaktitva. Astitva means existence and Vyaktitva means personality or identity. What is the paryaya pada in Sanskrit for these two words?
For Vyaktitvam and Swabhava, you can say for Vyaktitvam. But Swabhava can have other meanings also. Here in Geetha context, it is a little different, but it is again same. Like part of it. Part of here in the previous shloka, we had this Swabhava, right? Yes. So it is a part. Paramatma, a part of Paramatma is this Prakriti. is this bhutani. In that sense, we can take. So that is why this bhuta is considered as Paramatma, because it is a part of Paramatma. That Swabhava here is used in that sense. But for Vyaktitvam, you can take Swabhava as Paryaya Padam in regular context.
Okay. What about Astitvam?
Astitvam, how do you mean Astitvam? Like the existence. It is like existence.
Yes, in Sanskrit.
In Astitvam means existence. How do you say existence? Bhavitavyam.
Bhavitavyam.
But Bhavitavyam is not the...
అస్తిత్వం అంటే ఉనికి అని కదా.
Astitvam, uniki ante existence. Uniki is exist. Astitvam also is a kind of, that sense also is there. And existence is also there. Uniki ante existence. Astitvam, here two things are there. One is uniki, means existence. And the other one is pramana also.
ప్రమాణం.
Like we have nastika and those are what are those two words? Astika. No, astitvam you can take it as just existence only. Yes. So bhavati, bhavam, bhutam. More than bhavam, it is bhutam.
Presence అన్నట్టుగా కూడా చెప్పొచ్చేమో.
Presence, the existence or presence or. But again, depending on the context, it can change a little bit. So if you have a context, then contextually, if it can mean something in particular also, we can discuss. In general meaning is astitvam is existence.
Bhutam. Thank you, ma'am.
Bhagini, Alvelu Bhagini.
Bhagini. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar Bhagini, Dhanyavadah. Sarvebhyah Dhanyavadah. Namaskaraha.
Namaskaraha Sarvebhyah.
Shubharatri.